So in today's video, we want to explore who are the winners and the losers, so to say, of democracy in South Africa. If you talk about democracy and its illusion, there are those that have been more disillusioned than others, depending on race, depending on class, depending on geographical region, whether people are in the rural areas, whether people are in the urban areas. The survey revealed different results. The political elite in this country have been the biggest main winners of modern day South Africa's democracy. They are winners because, number one, they have been elected to become representatives of the poor. And by so doing, or by so becoming representatives, there are a lot of ways they have been able to benefit. Number one, they have benefited in cadre deployment. Number two, they have benefited in nepotism. Number three, they have benefited through corruption, some of them. Number four, some of them are living even above the law. Number five, their families have amassed a massive wealth because of the elite being in power. You can look at politicians' wives, look at politicians' children, look at politicians' cousins, and times even acquaintances from the bar or from old school boys. Because of the connection, they have very, very, very much so benefited. Okay, again, the political elite have benefited a lot by going in bed, so to say, with the private sector into BEE deals, sitting on their boards and becoming non-executive directors and all sorts of things. So they have really benefited in a way, both politically and economically. The main winners have been the political elite. Okay, so once again, when you talk about the winners and losers of South African democracy, you must also acknowledge that there are some in the working class that have been able to win. Some have won because they have their qualifications and they had been shelved aside because of the old regime, and so they have come to the fore, rightly so. But some have gotten also there through nepotism because there's a political narrative somewhere. Okay, some have also gotten up there because they have gone into bed with the political elite. They campaign for them, and so they are paid off when the elite gets into power. So some in the middle class have been able to benefit. Some rightly so, some wrongly so. We have seen this all the time. There's need lack. People go and negotiate over salaries. There's a lot of public sector job security when you get there, and so on. So there is some bit of beneficiation, so to say, democratically, that has accrued financial and material to some in the working class. Although there's still a lot of dissatisfaction in the working class where people, it will be absurd to talk about the winners of South African democracy and we don't talk about the private sector. There are some who are mainly white and male in business who have been very big winners when you look at the new dispensation, because their companies have mushroomed, they have gotten richer, They have gotten more free democratically. They have gotten safer. They have boomed suburbs. They have created, in essence, a small state within the state. So some of the main winners have been the white elite. And these white elite have been able to benefit also, some of them, largely because they have been wise to get the political elite onto the boards of their companies. So they have been able indirectly to influence policy when it comes to the economy. And this has kept money in their coffers, so to say. I am told, reliably so, that even the BEE first script and the ideas themselves were ideas from big white business. So there was no way they are going to formulate ideas that is going to empty their pockets. And again, when it comes to cartels, when it comes to monopolism, when it comes to all those isms that goes with big business in this country, you can look at the banks, the insurance companies, and so on. Large and by, they don't really have anyone bothering them. 20 or so years later, the ANC still looks around and does not say, why don't we have cooperative banks in this country? Why don't we have small business banks for the struggling youth who are trying to become entrepreneurs? Okay, why do we have an insurance system which is monopolistic and largely oppressing the black majority? These are questions that the ANC has no answers to, if you ask me. And this is largely because when you look around, you are going to find out that some of the political elite are on board committees and managing committees of these businesses. So they lobby, and so that's what happens. Policy tends to go your way if you're a business and you lobby, or you support politicians with millions of rands, as we have seen it in the previous campaign. Many big companies were throwing their money to CR17. And you can see even now that most of the decisions, large and by, are going their way. As a form of maybe thank you, you helped me, you can say. You can allege that that's what it is. Okay? So, big business has been a beneficiary. It has also created a breed of tenderpreneurs. There have been a breed of millionaires that have sprung up since 1994. Most of them previously unknown. The losers now. The biggest loser to South Africa's democracy has largely been the majority black people in this country. Large and by, if you go into rural areas, the urban poor, go to the rural areas, you will see some of those people, the only thing that changed is the national anthem and the flag. Nothing changed. They have never seen any change ever since the ANC took power. They have not seen any tangible changes in their lives that they can say, we can celebrate this because of the ANC. Okay, so the infrastructure didn't change. Their housing situation did not change. The schools where they used to go are still mud houses. The schools in Limpopo, the kids are still using pit latrine toilets. These parents, some of them have been voting and they are continuing to vote, waiting in anticipation that maybe this time is when things will change. Then they vote again, and then they think this time, this is when things will change. And nothing has changed. But to be objective, we must also say that This is not a blanket thing that the poor and the majority in the rural areas have all been disillusioned the same way. No, there are different levels of disillusionment because some communities have seen some changes. Some have gotten running water, some have gotten RDP houses, some have gotten the lighting for the first time in their lives, and. But large and by, the inequality has deepened in the country. Okay, this country has become the most unequal society in the world. Also lost out on democracy in the name of democracy itself, because there's a deception, and this is an elitistic deception, that democracy means majoritarianism. My friend, democracy does not mean majoritarianism. And I'm glad that you will continue enjoying this series. Please tune in for episode 3. We will tackle yet some more issues pertaining to the disillusionment of democracy in South Africa. But for now, please leave a comment. What do you think have been the biggest winners or biggest losers of democracy in South Africa? Have you been a winner? Have you been a loser? Does your community stand into the brackets demographically to say, no, we have won or we have lost? Please leave a comment below and subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell.